Hey everyone! If you watched my last video about Squirm, this one is for you. Because I got something wrong. And honestly, getting it wrong led me to something way more interesting than my original theory. A fan in the comments pointed out a real flaw in what I said, and instead of ignoring it, I went back. I read the wiki. I studied the lore. And what I found about Squirm is actually darker and more tragic than anything I made up the first time. Let's get into it. First, let me be honest about what I got wrong. In my last video I said Squirm was some ancient being who existed before Dandy, watching everything from underground. That he was a silent witness to the birth of Gardenview. It sounded great. But a viewer in the comments dropped a fact that stopped me cold. According to the wiki, Dandy and Astro were the first toons in Gardenview. There's even a photo of them sitting together in the old lobby before the park even opened. So no, Squirm was not there first. I was wrong, and I respect that correction. But here's what I found when I actually dug into the real lore. The truth about Squirm is so much sadder than my original theory. And sadness, in Dandy's world, is always more interesting than mystery. So let's start from the beginning. What is Dandy's world really? The game takes place in the Gardenview Educational Center and Museum. A children's attraction that opened sometime in the 1980s. It was bright, colorful, full of these adorable characters called toons. Kids loved it. Families came from everywhere. It was genuinely a happy place. The toons had their own TV show. They taught children about friendship and nature. Everything seemed perfect. And then something went wrong. The show started losing popularity. Dandy, the star of the whole operation, became terrified. Not of monsters. Not of darkness. He was terrified of being forgotten. And that fear drove him to do something desperate. He started experimenting with a mysterious black substance called ichor. The same ichor that flows through the machines in the lower levels of Gardenview. The same ichor that is literally connected to Greek mythology as the blood of the gods, a substance that is fatal to mortals. Dandy thought he could use it to save his friends, save the show, save everything he loved. Instead, it corrupted his friends one by one, transforming them into the twisted monsters we know today. The park was shut down on June 29, 2002, following what was officially called a malfunction incident. Gardenview has been closed ever since. And somewhere in those dark lower floors, all the toons are still there. Twisted. Trapped. Waiting. Now. Where does Squirm fit into all of this? Squirm is not a warrior. He is not a hero. He is not an ancient being. He is a bookworm. Literally. A caterpillar-like toon with 6 body segments, droopy eyes, and a personality that the developers themselves described with one word: distressed. His name literally means wriggling from nervousness and discomfort. Every single detail about this character, his design, his ability, his interactions with other toons, points to one thing. Squirm is defined by anxiety. By the feeling that he is not enough. That he is worthless. That no matter what he does, it will never be good enough. We know from his in-game interactions that Squirm used to be part of a book club. He loved it. Books were his safe place, his way of making sense of the world. And then he got kicked out. Why? Because he couldn't stop eating the books. His stress response, his coping mechanism, was literally destroying the thing he loved most. He even tries to rejoin the club later, asking nervously, stuttering, clearly terrified of rejection. And Brightney tells him no. You know why you were removed. Think about that for a second. This is a character who found one thing that brought him comfort and meaning in a world that was falling apart around him. And his own anxiety took that away from him too. Now let's talk about Twisted Squirm. Because this is where the real theory begins. Every Twisted in Dandy's world is a tragedy. But Twisted Squirm is unique in a way that no other Twisted is. He lives on the ceiling. Specifically, he lives inside a broken cocoon, covered in ichor, hanging from above. He is the only Twisted in the entire game who never touches the ground. Not once. Why is this so significant? Think about what a cocoon means. A cocoon is a transformation. It is the stage between who you were and who you are becoming. A caterpillar enters a cocoon to become a butterfly. It is supposed to be a temporary state. A painful but necessary process that ends in something new and beautiful. Twisted Squirm never completed that transformation. He is stuck. He is frozen inside a broken cocoon, suspended between what he was and what he could have been. The ichor didn't just corrupt him. It interrupted his transformation. It trapped him in the most painful moment of change, the moment when you have already given up who you were, but you haven't yet become who you were meant to be. And here's the darkest part of all. Even as Twisted Squirm, even completely consumed by ichor and corruption, he still eats books. When he spawns above a bookshelf, he devours every single book inside it. The one habit that got him kicked out of the book club. The one coping mechanism that he couldn't control. Even in his most broken, corrupted state, it's still there. He is still reaching for the thing that brought him comfort. And it's still destroying everything around him. So here is the real theory. The one built on actual lore. Squirm never got to become who he was supposed to be. In the world of Gardenview, while Dandy was desperately trying to save everyone with ichor, while the toons were being corrupted one by one, his Squirm was in a corner somewhere. Probably reading. Probably trying to understand what was happening through books. Probably telling himself he was useless, that he couldn't help, that he wasn't smart enough or brave enough to make a difference. And the ichor found him in that moment of weakness. It always finds you in your weakest moment. For V, it was probably when she was trying to fix something and couldn't. For Sprout, it was probably something else entirely. For Squirm, it was when he was alone with his books and his anxiety, convinced that he was worthless. The cocoon on the ceiling is not just a visual design choice. It is a metaphor. Squirm started becoming something more. He was in the middle of his transformation. Maybe he was finally starting to believe in himself, finally starting to become someone who could face this world. And the ichor stopped it. Broke the cocoon. Froze him halfway. And now he hangs there forever, above everything, never touching the ground. Close enough to the books to destroy them. Far enough from everyone else to never be reached. And the most heartbreaking connection of all? Look at normal Squirm's ability. It's called distressed delicacy. He eats books under stress and it temporarily makes him more powerful. But the cooldown is 80 seconds. It's a burst of energy followed by a long period of helplessness. That is Squirm's entire character in one game mechanic. Moments of desperate, anxious effort followed by long stretches of feeling like he can't do anything. And the only thing that makes him recover faster is being close to a bookshelf. The very thing he can't stop destroying. The developers built his entire personality directly into how he plays. That is not an accident. That is intentional storytelling. So what does all of this mean? Here is my updated theory. Squirm is the toon who almost made it. Almost completed his transformation. Almost became something powerful and new. The ichor caught him at the worst possible moment, the moment when he was most vulnerable, most uncertain, most alone. And now Twisted Squirm hangs on the ceiling of Gardenview, stuck in a broken cocoon for the rest of eternity. Eating books he can't read anymore. Reaching down to grab anyone who gets too close. Not out of evil. Out of loneliness. Out of desperation. He is not a villain. He is not a monster. He is a reminder of what happens when anxiety wins. When you don't believe in yourself long enough for something external to come in and confirm every terrible thing you thought about yourself. In a game full of tragic characters, Squirm might be the most tragic of all. If you watched my first video and you're back for this one, thank you. You made this video better by challenging me. Drop your own theories in the comments. Tell me what I missed this time too, I genuinely want to know. Like and subscribe if you want more Dandy's World lore. And I'll see you in the next one.